The day my mother-in-law called me crying, I thought she missed her son again. I had no idea that phone call would tear open wounds I didn't even know were still bleeding. Before we begin, tell me, where are you listening from today? If this story touches your heart, please share your thoughts in the comments section and send it to someone who needs to hear it. My name is Clara, and today I'm sharing how I kept sending my late husband's mother $300 every month until one unexpected discovery changed everything. When the phone rang that afternoon, I was folding laundry in my small apartment. The dryer was humming, the kind of steady sound that fills empty rooms and makes you feel less alone. I almost didn't answer. Unknown number, but something in my chest tightened like a quiet warning. "Hello," I said, tucking a warm towel under my arm. "Clara," her voice cracked before she even finished my name. It was Marlene, my late husband's mother. For a second I couldn't breathe. Every time she called, it felt like being dragged back into a life I had lost. Not in a painful way, more like opening an old photo album. Sweet but heavy. "What's wrong?" I asked, dropping the towel. She sniffled. I didn't want to bother you. You've done so much already." My stomach sank. "Please tell me what's happening." She hesitated. I could hear the old clock in her living room ticking in the background, that same clock that used to annoy my husband when he was alive. Tick, tick, tick. "I haven't eaten properly in 2 days," she finally whispered. "My electricity bill, they sent a notice. I don't know what to do anymore." My heart clenched. Without thinking, I opened my banking app. My fingers moved on their own muscle memory from years of doing the same thing. "Marlene, I'll send you the money right now," I said softly. "Don't worry." She cried harder. "You're an angel, Clara, God bless you. I don't know what I'd do without you." I closed my eyes. Angel, if only she knew how broken I felt most days. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed and stared at the confirmation screen. Transfer complete, $300. Every month, same amount, same routine. It had been 7 years since my husband, Daniel, passed away. 7 years since I stood in a black dress, holding back tears while people told me he was in a better place. 7 years since my life split into before and after. Daniel and I met in college. He had this crooked smile that made you trust him instantly. The kind of man who held doors open, remembered your coffee order, and laughed too loud in quiet places. We married young, poor but happy. Our first apartment smelled like burnt toast and cheap coffee. We shared one blanket in winter and pretended it was romantic. He used to wrap his arms around me and whisper, "We'll make it, Clara, just wait." And we did. Daniel worked in construction, hard worker, calloused hands, always tired but never complained. I was a receptionist at a dental clinic, nothing fancy but it paid the bills. Then one rainy night, everything changed. A drunk driver ran a red light. Daniel never made it home. For months I couldn't sleep in our bed. His side felt too empty, too cold. Sometimes I reached for him in the dark, forgetting he was gone. My hand always found nothing. Marlene became my lifeline during that time. She came over with casseroles, sat quietly beside me, never forced me to talk, just held my hand when I cried. She lost her only son that day. I lost my husband. We were tied together by grief. A few weeks after the funeral, she confessed something. "Clara," she said, eyes red, "Daniel used to help me with money. I never told you, I was embarrassed." My heart sank. "How much did he send you?" $300 every month. I didn't even hesitate. "I'll continue it." She grabbed my hands. "No, sweetheart, that's not your responsibility." "It is," I said, "your family." And I meant it. So I kept sending it, month after month, year after year. Sometimes it hurt, my budget was tight, rent went up, groceries got expensive, but I always found a way. I cut back on things, no vacations, no fancy clothes, no dinners out. I told myself it was temporary. But temporary turned into years. Friends asked why I was still doing it. "Clara, you don't owe her anything," my coworker Jenna said once. "You've done enough." I shrugged. Daniel would have wanted me to. Truth was, I needed that connection. Sending her money made me feel close to him, like he wasn't completely gone. Marlene called often, mostly to thank me, sometimes just to talk. She always sounded fragile, tired, lonely. I don't have anyone else, she'd say. My sister passed, your husband was all I had. So I stayed. Until the first crack appeared. It started small. 1 month I sent the money like usual. 2 days later she called. Clara, I hate to ask, but could you send a little extra? My fridge broke. My eyebrows knitted together. How much extra? Maybe another 100. I hesitated. I was already stretched thin. Okay, I said, just this once. She promised she'd pay it back. She never did. Next month it happened again. Gas bill went up. Then again. Doctor visit. I started noticing patterns. Emergencies every month, always right after I sent the money. Still, I kept quiet. I didn't want to be heartless. She was old, alone, struggling. But something didn't sit right. One afternoon, I ran into my cousin Lily at the grocery store. We grew up together, but hadn't talked in years. Clara, she squealed, oh my God, you look good. We chatted in the cereal aisle, catching up. She asked about Daniel. I swallowed and told her he passed years ago. She hugged me. Then she asked, how Aunt Marlene doing? I froze, you know her. She nodded, yeah, I saw her last month. She was at that new casino outside town. My heart skipped. Casino. Yeah, with her friend Carol. They looked well dressed, playing slot machines like pros. I forced a smile. Oh, that's nice. But my chest tightened. Casino. That night I couldn't sleep. The image of Marlene crying on the phone clashed with Lily's story. Well dressed, laughing, gambling. Was she lying to me? I tried to shake it off. Maybe it was once. Maybe she won a little and treated herself. She deserved some joy, right? Still, doubts crept in. The next time she called asking for extra money, I gently asked, Marlene, have you been going out lately? Maybe doing something fun. She went quiet. Then she laughed nervously. Oh no, dear, I barely leave the house. Lies. I felt it in my bones. But I said nothing. Weeks later, I drove past her neighborhood by accident, a detour from work. Her house used to look worn, peeling paint, broken porch step, but that day it looked different. Fresh white paint. New flower pots. A shiny SUV in the driveway. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. SUV. I parked across the street, heart pounding. I told myself I was crazy, but I needed to see. I walked up slowly. The porch step was fixed, wind chimes hung by the door. I knocked. No answer. I tried again. Still nothing. I peeked through the side window. Inside I saw a big flat-screen TV, new furniture, leather couch. My stomach dropped. Where was this money coming from? It sure wasn't just my 300. I went back to my car, shaking. Tears filled my eyes, betrayal felt heavy, but I wasn't ready to face it. That night she called. Clara, did you send this month's money yet? I took a deep breath. Yes. She sighed with relief. Thank God, I needed it. For what? I asked quietly. Groceries, she replied quickly. I almost laughed. Okay, I said, take care. I hung up and stared at my ceiling. Something was very wrong. But the truth I wasn't ready for. The night after I saw Marlene's new SUV, sleep refused to come. I kept replaying every conversation we'd ever had, every sobbing phone call, every thank you wrapped in tears. My mind felt like a room with too many open windows, cold air rushing in from every direction. Was I being used? I hated myself for even thinking it. The next morning I woke up with a headache and a heavy heart. As I made coffee, the smell felt bitter like my mood. I stared at the mug in my hands and whispered, Daniel, what would you do? Of course there was no answer. At work I couldn't focus. Patients checked in, phones rang, but everything felt distant. My coworker Jenna noticed. You okay? She asked, handing me a file. Yeah, just tired, I lied. But later, during lunch, she cornered me near the vending machine. Clara, you've been off lately. Talk to me. I hesitated, then I sighed. I think Marlene might be lying to me." Her eyebrows lifted. "About what?" "The money. I saw her house. She has new things, a car, but she keeps saying she can't afford food." Jenna crossed her arms. "That doesn't add up." "I know," I whispered, "but I feel horrible even questioning her." "Clara," Jenna said gently, "kindness doesn't mean you have to be blind." Her words stuck with me. That weekend I decided to test something. It felt wrong, but I needed answers. When Marlene called that Sunday, I acted normal. "Hi, sweetheart," she said. "How are you?" "I'm okay," I replied. "Listen, this month is a little tight for me. I might send a bit late." Silence. Then her tone changed. "What do you mean late?" "Just a few days," I said. "Bills came up." She exhaled sharply. "Clara, I really need it now." "For groceries?" I asked. "Yes, I told you I have nothing in the fridge." I swallowed. "Marlene, I drove past your house last week." She froze. "I saw the new paint, the SUV." Her breathing became uneven. "Oh, that, my friend let me borrow the car. And the paint, a neighbor helped." Lies again. My heart sank. "Marlene, please don't lie to me." She started crying. "Why are you attacking me after everything?" Guilt punched me in the stomach. "I'm not attacking you," I said softly. "I just want honesty." "I am honest," she sobbed. "You think I'd lie to you after losing my son?" That hurt. She knew it would. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Forget I said anything." We hung up, but I felt worse than before. Days passed, she didn't call. I thought maybe she was angry or embarrassed. Then something unexpected happened. One evening, I got a Facebook message from a woman named Carol. "Are you Clara, Daniel's wife?" My heart raced. I typed back, "Yes, who's this?" "I'm Marlene's friend." My hands shook. "Is everything okay?" There was a pause. Then she wrote, "I think you deserve to know something." I sat on my couch, phone clutched tight. "What?" I typed. "She's been gambling a lot for years." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I wrote back. Carol sent a voice note. Her voice was calm, almost apologetic. "Marlene goes to the casino 3, sometimes 4 times a week. She told me you send her money. She uses most of it there." I felt sick. Carol continued, "I've tried to stop her. She says it's her only joy, but it's bad, Clara, she's lost thousands." My throat tightened. "Why are you telling me now?" "Because last week," Carol said, "she bragged about how you'd never stop helping her. She laughed, said she had you wrapped around her finger." Tears burned my eyes. "She laughed," I whispered. "I'm sorry," Carol said. "I couldn't keep quiet." I sat there in silence long after the message ended. Wrapped around her finger. Every sacrifice, every skipped meal, every lonely night, and she was laughing. I felt stupid, used, betrayed. But more than that, I felt heartbroken. Daniel trusted her, he loved her, and she turned that love into a weapon. I wanted to confront her immediately, but I needed proof, something solid, not just words. So I asked Carol, "Can you help me?" She hesitated. "What do you want to do?" "I want to see it with my own eyes." 2 days later, we met outside the casino. I felt ridiculous standing there, like I was about to catch someone cheating, except it was money, my money. Carol pointed, "That's her car." The shiny SUV. My chest tightened. We walked inside. The smell of smoke and cheap perfume hit me, bright lights, ringing machines, people cheering, groaning. Then I saw her. Marlene. She wore a red dress, hair styled, makeup on, laughing with another woman as she pulled a slot machine lever. She looked alive. Happy. Not broken, not poor. I froze. Carol whispered, "See." Marlene threw her head back laughing, then she pulled out her wallet, thick, full of cash. My hands shook. I wanted to scream, to run up and shake her. Instead, I turned and walked out. Outside, I leaned against the wall, gasping. "She lied," I whispered. "I'm sorry," Carol said. I drove home in silence. The radio felt too loud, I turned it off. That night I cried harder than I had in years. Not because of money. Because of trust. The next morning Marlene called. "Clara, did you send this month's extra yet?" she asked sweetly. My voice shook. "Marlene, we need to talk." "Oh, about what?" "I know about the casino." Silence. Then a sharp inhale. "Who told you?" "Does it matter?" I asked. "Is it true?" She sighed. "So what if I go? It's my life." "My money," I replied quietly. She snapped. "Your husband sent it first, you just continued it." "That was to help you survive," I said, "not to gamble." "Don't judge me," she shouted. "You don't know what it's like to be alone." My heart pounded. "I do know, Marlene, I lost my husband." She went quiet. Then she said coldly, "So you're cutting me off now, after all these years?" I swallowed. "I never said that." "Well, that's what this is about, right?" she scoffed. "You've changed." "No," I whispered, "you did." She laughed bitterly. "You owe me, Clara, you took my son from me." That felt like a slap. "I didn't take him," I cried. "He died." "Well, he chose you over me," she snapped. Tears streamed down my face. "That's not fair." "Life isn't fair," she said. "So are you sending the money or not?" I closed my eyes. "No," I said. "What?" she shrieked. "I'm not sending it anymore," I said, my voice shaking. "Not if you're using it like this." "You selfish woman," she screamed, "after everything I did for you." I hung up. My hands were trembling, but for the first time in years I felt strong. Free. But I had no idea what she would do next. The silence after I hung up felt louder than her screaming ever had. My phone lay on the coffee table, screen dark, like it was holding its breath with me. My chest rose and fell too fast. My hands were still shaking, so I wrapped them around a pillow just to feel something solid. I had finally said no. After 7 years. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure if I was about to fly or fall. That night I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes I heard her words again. "You owe me, you took my son from me." I whispered into the dark, "Daniel, I never wanted to come between you two, you know that." But grief doesn't answer back. The next morning I woke up to 10 missed calls. All from Marlene's. My stomach twisted. I didn't listen to the voicemails right away. I made coffee, sat at my small kitchen table and stared out the window. A bird hopped along the railing. Normal life kept moving, even when my world felt upside down. Finally I pressed play. Her voice came through, sharp and panicked. "Clara, call me back, this isn't funny." "Next one." "I don't know what game you're playing, but I need that money." Another. "They're threatening to shut off my power. Do you want me to sit in the dark?" By the 5th message she was crying. "I thought you loved me, I thought you were family." By the 10th she was furious again. "You'll regret this." I felt sick. For a moment I almost picked up my phone, almost sent the money. Habit is dangerous like that. It sneaks up on you, whispers comfort lies. But then I remembered the casino lights, her laughter, the thick wallet. I deleted the voicemails. 2 days passed, then 3. No calls. I started to relax. Maybe she finally understood. Maybe she'd get help. Then I got a knock on my door. Hard, aggressive. My heart jumped. I peeked through the peephole. "Marlene." I froze. She stood there with her arms crossed, lips tight, same red dress from the casino, hair done, no tears. I opened the door slowly. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She pushed past me into my apartment without asking. "Nice place," she muttered, looking around. "Must be easy to live like this." I closed the door. "Marlene, you can't just show up." She turned. "Why not? You owe me." I took a deep breath. "We talked about this." "No, you talked," she snapped. "You accused me, you judged me." "I told you the truth," I replied. She laughed bitterly. "Truth, you don't know the first thing about my life." "Then tell me," I said. "Tell me why you need all this money." She rolled her eyes and sat on my couch. Because I deserved to enjoy myself, I gave up everything for Daniel, my youth, my dreams. That doesn't mean you get to use me, I said. Her eyes narrowed. Use you, I raised your husband, you got the best years of his life. My voice cracked, I lost him too. She stood up suddenly. You still have your life, I'm alone. So am I whispered. She scoffed, you're young, you can remarry, find another man. That hurt. I don't want another man, I said quietly. I wanted Daniel. She looked away for a second. Just a second, I thought I saw regret. Then it vanished. So, she said coldly, are you sending the money or not? No. Her face hardened. Then you leave me no choice. What choice? I asked. You'll see. She stormed out. My knees felt weak. I sat down slowly. What was that supposed to mean? 2 days later, my phone buzzed at work. Unknown number. Hello, I answered. Is this Clara Davis? A man asked. Yes. This is Mr. Harris. I represent Marlene Carter. My heart sank. Represent her how? She claims you promised to support her financially for life. She wants to discuss legal options. I felt dizzy. Legal? Yes, he said calmly. She says you verbally agreed. I almost laughed. That's not true. We can discuss this further, he replied, but I suggest you cooperate. My coworker Jenna noticed my pale face. What's wrong? She whispered. My mother-in-law hired a lawyer, I muttered. Jenna's eyes widened. You're kidding. I wished. That evening I met Carol again. We sat at a small cafe. The smell of cinnamon filled the air, but I couldn't enjoy it. She threatened me, I told her. Now she has a lawyer. Carol sighed. I'm not surprised. You knew? I asked. She's done this before, Carol admitted. Her sister cut her off years ago. She tried to sue her too. My jaw dropped, and... She lost, Carol said. No contract, no proof. Relief washed over me. So she can't win. No, Carol said, but she'll try to scare you. And she did. Letters arrived, formal, cold. I felt like my life was under attack. But I wasn't the scared girl I used to be. I gathered bank statements, messages, proof of all the money I had sent, over $25,000 over the years. I showed them to a legal aid counselor. She shook her head. You were generous, but you're not obligated. So I'm safe? I asked. Yes, she said. She has no case. For the first time in weeks, I breathed freely. But Marlene wasn't done. One afternoon, my neighbor knocked on my door. Someone was asking about you, she said. Who's? An older woman. She said you abandoned her. My chest tightened. She told me you left her to starve, my neighbor added. Anger burned in my stomach. Marlene was turning people against me. That night I got a message on Facebook. From Daniel's aunt. How could you do this to Marlene? I stared at the screen. Another from his cousin. She raised him alone, you owe her. I felt surrounded. They didn't know the truth, they only heard her version. I typed long messages, then deleted them. No one wanted the full story, they wanted drama. I decided it was time. Time to stop hiding. I called a family meeting. Daniel's relatives, his aunt, cousins, even Marlene. We met at his old house. The air felt heavy. Marlene sat stiff, arms crossed, acting like the victim. I stood up. I've sent Marlene $300 every month for 7 years, I said. That's over $25,000. Murmurs filled the room. She told us you cut her off, his aunt said. Yes, I replied, because she's been gambling with it. Marlene jumped up. Lies. I pulled out my phone. I have photos, messages, witnesses. Carol stood. It's true. I go with her sometimes. Everyone gasped. Marlene's face went pale. She said you were cruel, his cousin whispered. I was kind, I said, too kind. Marlene started crying. They're all against me now. No, I said softly, we just know the truth. Silence filled the room. Daniel's aunt sighed. Marlene, this isn't right. Marlene looked around. No one defended her. She stormed out. I sat down, exhausted, but free. After Marlene stormed out of that family meeting, no one followed her. That silence felt louder than any argument. Chairs creaked as people shifted uncomfortably. Some stared at the floor. Others looked at me with pity and a little shame. Daniel's aunt cleared her throat. Clara, I'm sorry, we believed her. I nodded. I know, she's convincing. We sat there a few more minutes, but the air was thick. The meeting ended quietly. No hugs, no closure, just people leaving in small groups, whispering to each other. I stayed behind for a moment. Daniel's childhood home felt empty now. Dust floated in the sunlight coming through the window. I ran my fingers over the back of the couch where he used to sit, the one with the loose spring that always poked him. See, I whispered to the room, I tried. That night I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. 2 days later, my manager called me into her office. Clara, have a seat, she said gently. My stomach dropped. Is something wrong? She hesitated. We got a strange call today. From who? An older woman. She claimed you've been stealing money from her. My heart pounded. What? She said you tricked her into sending you money, that you cut her off and left her homeless. I laughed bitterly. That's not true. I know, my manager said softly. You've worked here for 5 years, we trust you, but I had to tell you. Shame burned my face. She's trying to ruin me. My manager nodded. I figured. I left work shaking. This wasn't just about money anymore, it was about control. That evening I called Carol. She's spreading lies, I said, even called my job. Carol sighed. She did that to her sister too, tried to destroy her. I don't understand, I whispered. Why? Because when she loses control she panics, Carol replied, and she lashes out. I sat on my couch hugging my knees. What do I do now? You stand firm, Carol said. She'll get tired. I wished I believed that. The next week I received a certified letter. Another legal threat. This time she claimed I emotionally manipulated her. I laughed when I read it, not because it was funny, because it was absurd. I took the letter to my legal aid counselor again. She's grasping at air, the counselor said. Still no case. So she's just harassing me. Yes. I nodded slowly. How do I make it stop? You don't respond, she said. Eventually she will. I tried. But Marlene wasn't done playing victim. She posted on Facebook. A long, dramatic post. My son's widow abandoned me. After all I sacrificed, some people have no heart. Comments flooded in. Heaven sees everything. So sad. How could she? My hands trembled as I scrolled. I wanted to scream the truth, but I stayed silent. Then something unexpected happened. Daniel's cousin, Rebecca, messaged me. I'm sorry, she wrote. I saw her at the casino today. My heart sank again. Yes, Rebecca replied. She was laughing, ordering drinks, didn't look starving. Tears rolled down my face. So she's still lying, I whispered to myself. That night I wrote a post. Not angry, not defensive. Just honest. I supported my mother-in-law financially for 7 years after my husband passed. I stopped when I discovered the money was being used for gambling. I wish her well, but I will no longer be enabling behavior that hurts her. I didn't tag her, I didn't name her. But everyone knew. The reactions were mixed. Some supported me. Others stayed quiet. Marlene blocked me. For the first time in months there was silence. No calls. No threats. Just quiet. Weeks passed. I started to feel lighter, like I had dropped a heavy bag I didn't realize I was carrying. One morning I treated myself to breakfast at a cafe, pancakes, real butter, syrup. I smiled at how small joys felt big now. But healing isn't straight. One evening, as I walked to my car, I saw her. Marlene, standing by the curb. My heart jumped. She looked different. No makeup, hair messy, clothes wrinkled. "Clara," she said quietly. I froze. "What do you want?" She swallowed. "Can we talk?" I hesitated, then nodded. We sat on a bench nearby. For a moment, neither of us spoke. "I lost," she finally whispered. "What?" "My money at the casino." I said nothing. "I'm in debt," she continued. "I thought I could win it back, I always do, until I didn't." Her hands shook. "They're calling me collectors." I felt a tug in my chest, not anger, sadness. "I messed up," she said. I studied her face. For the first time she looked her age. "Why didn't you stop?" I asked quietly. "Because it was the only place I didn't feel alone," she whispered. "People talked to me, laughed, I felt alive." I nodded slowly. "I get that." She looked surprised. "I feel lonely too," I said, "but I don't gamble away someone else's sacrifice." Tears filled her eyes. "I know." "I can't give you money," I said gently, "but I can help you find resources." She shook her head. "I don't deserve your help." I stood up. "Maybe not, but I'm not cruel." I handed her a paper, a list of support groups Carol gave me. "Call them," I said, "they can help." She stared at it. "Goodbye, Marlene," I said softly. She didn't answer. I walked away. My legs felt weak, but my heart felt strong. I didn't look back after I walked away from Marlene that night. I could feel her eyes on me, heavy and confused, but I kept moving. Each step felt like a quiet promise to myself, a promise that I would no longer set myself on fire to keep someone else warm. The air was cool and the streetlights cast long shadows on the sidewalk. I sat in my car for a moment before starting the engine, my hands resting on the steering wheel. My reflection stared back at me from the windshield, tired eyes, but something new behind them: strength. For the first time since Daniel died, I felt like I was choosing myself. The next morning I woke up before my alarm. Sunlight peeked through my curtains. I stretched, feeling oddly peaceful. No anxiety, no checking my phone for missed calls. Silence. Good silence. I made breakfast, eggs, toast, real butter again. It felt like a celebration. At work, Jenna smiled when she saw me. "You look different," she said. "Do I?" I asked. "Lighter," she replied, "like you finally dropped something heavy." I nodded. "I think I did." During lunch, I told her about seeing Marlene. "And?" Jenna asked. "She lost everything," I said. "Debt collectors." Jenna winced. "That's rough." "I didn't give her money," I added. Jenna smiled. "I'm proud of you." That meant more than she knew. Days turned into weeks. No calls, no messages, no letters. I focused on me. I started taking evening walks, joined a small yoga class. My muscles protested, but it felt good to move. One night I cooked a proper dinner. Chicken, vegetables. I lit a candle not for romance but for comfort. I ate slowly, enjoying every bite. It felt like learning how to live again. Then one evening I got a message from Carol. Marlene checked herself into a support group. My heart skipped. "Really?" "Yes," Carol replied. "She finally admitted she has a problem." I closed my eyes, relief washing over me. "Thank you for telling me," I wrote. "She keeps asking about you," Carol added. "Says she's sorry." I stared at the screen for a long time. "Sorry." It sounded small for all the damage done, but it was a start. I didn't reply right away. I needed space, time. Healing isn't about rushing forgiveness, it's about making sure the wound doesn't reopen. A week later, I saw Marlene again. At the grocery store. She looked healthier, clean clothes, calm eyes. She noticed me and froze. "Clara," she said softly. I nodded. "Hi." We stood awkwardly by the bread aisle. "I'm going to meetings," she said. "Carol told you, right?" "Yes," I replied. "I'm glad." She swallowed. "I owe you an apology." I waited. I lied to you, used you, took advantage of your kindness. My chest tightened. I'm sorry, she whispered. Tears filled her eyes. I took a deep breath. Thank you for saying that. I don't expect you to forgive me, she added quickly. I just wanted you to know I was wrong. I nodded slowly. That matters. She hesitated. Can I hug you? I froze. Part of me wanted to step back, protect myself. But another part remembered the woman who once held me when Daniel died. I nodded. She hugged me gently, not tight, not demanding. Take care, Clara, she said as we pulled apart. You too, I replied. And we walked our separate ways. That night I cried. Not from anger, from release. I realized something important. I didn't need her to change for my healing. But her trying helped. Months passed. I saved money, went on a short weekend trip to the beach, watched waves crash, let the wind tangle my hair. I talked to Daniel out loud sometimes. I'm okay, I told the ocean. I promise. One afternoon, I received a letter in the mail. From Marlene. My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Clara, I know I don't deserve your kindness, but I want to thank you. Your support kept me alive for years. I abused it and I am ashamed. I'm in therapy now. I'm learning to sit with my loneliness instead of running from it. I don't ask for anything from you. I just want you to live your life, be happy. Daniel would want that. Love. Marlene. Tears slid down my cheeks. This time they weren't heavy. They were soft. I wrote back. Marlene. I'm glad you're getting help. I wish you peace. Take care of yourself. Clara. Short, simple boundaries. I didn't send money. I sent respect. Weeks later I met a man at yoga class. His name was Ethan, kind eyes, gentle smile. We talked after class. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into walks. I was honest from the start. I lost my husband, I told him. I'm sorry, he said quietly. That must have been hard. It was, I replied, but I'm learning to live again. He didn't rush me, didn't push. He just walked beside me. For the first time I felt hope without guilt. One evening we sat on a park bench watching kids play. Do you believe everything happens for a reason? He asked. I thought for a moment. No, I said, but I believe we choose what to learn from it. He smiled, that's wise. I laughed, hardened wisdom. Later that night, alone in my apartment, I reflected. Losing Daniel broke me. But it also showed me how strong I could be. Helping Marlene taught me compassion. Standing up to her taught me self-respect. Both mattered. I looked around my place. It felt like home now, not a waiting room for grief. Just home. Life didn't suddenly turn perfect after that. Healing never works like that. It came in quiet waves, some days strong, some days gentle, some days surprising me when I least expected it. Ethan and I continued seeing each other. Slowly, carefully, I told him about my fears, about the nights I still reached for Daniel in my sleep. He listened, never rushed me, never tried to fix me. One rainy evening we sat in my car after dinner, the windows fogged up. Are you scared to love again? He asked softly. I stared at the raindrops sliding down the glass, terrified. He nodded, me too. That honesty felt like a gift. We didn't kiss that night, we just held hands. Sometimes that felt bigger than anything. Meanwhile, Marlene kept attending meetings. Carol updated me now and then. She's doing better, she said, taking responsibility. I was glad. But I kept my distance, not out of hate, out of protection. One afternoon, I received a call from an unknown number. Hello, Clara, it's Marlene. My heart skipped. Hi. I won't keep you long, she said. I just wanted to tell you something. Okay. I paid my first debt installment today, she said proudly. It felt good, hard but good. I smiled. That's progress. I wanted you to know I'm trying to fix what I broke, she whispered. I hope so, I replied gently. We hung up. I felt calm, not anxious. That was new. Months later, something unexpected happened. My landlord announced rent would increase. I panicked. Old habits kicked in. Maybe I should take extra shifts, I muttered to myself. Then I remembered. I had $300 extra every month now. That realization hit me like a wave. I wasn't drowning anymore. I paid the new rent comfortably. For the first time, money didn't scare me. I celebrated by buying new curtains. Silly, I know, but they made my place brighter. Ethan noticed. Your apartment feels warmer, he said. So do I replied, smiling. One Sunday, I visited Daniel's grave. I brought flowers, sat on the grass. I stopped sending your mom money, I told him softly, but I helped her get help. The wind rustled the leaves. I hope you understand. I imagined his crooked smile. I think you'd be proud. Tears slid down my face, not sad, just honest. I'm dating someone, I added quietly. I didn't think I'd ever say that. My heart felt light saying it out loud. I'll never forget you, I whispered, but I'm learning to live. Weeks later, I got a message from Daniel's aunt. I was wrong about you, I'm sorry. I stared at it. Forgiveness comes in strange ways. I replied, thank you. That was enough. One afternoon, Carol invited me to lunch. I want to tell you something, she said. What? Marlene volunteered at a shelter, Carol smiled. She's helping others now. My eyes widened. Really? Yes, she said she understands loneliness better. That touched me. Maybe all this pain wasn't wasted. That evening, Ethan and I cooked dinner together. He burned the garlic. We laughed. You're terrible at this, I teased. I'm trying, he grinned. Me too, I replied. We ate on the couch, watching a silly show. At some point, he looked at me seriously. I care about you, Clara. My heart skipped. I care about you too. I don't want to replace Daniel, he said gently. I just want to walk with you now. Tears filled my eyes. That means everything. We hugged, slow, safe. I realized love didn't have to be loud. It could be quiet, steady, respectful. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about the past 7 years. How I lived for others. How I forgot myself. But now I felt balanced. I helped when I could. But I stopped hurting myself to save others. That felt like growth. I woke up the next morning with a strange feeling. Peace. Real peace. Peace doesn't come with fireworks. It slips in quietly, like sunlight through half-open curtains. You don't even realize it's there until you pause long enough to feel its warmth. That's how I felt in the weeks that followed. Ethan and I continued building something slow and gentle. No pressure, no rushing into labels, just two people choosing to show up for each other. We cooked together, took walks after dinner. Sometimes we sat in silence and it felt comfortable, not awkward. One night while we were washing dishes, he said, "You don't talk about him as much anymore." I froze for a second. Daniel. He nodded. I still think about him, I said, every day, but it doesn't hurt the same way now. Ethan smiled softly. That's good. It doesn't mean I love him less, I added quickly. I know, he replied. Love doesn't expire. That line stayed with me. Around that same time, Carol called again. Marlene wants to see you, she said carefully. My chest tightened. Why? She says she doesn't expect anything. She just wants to apologize in person. I closed my eyes. Part of me wanted to say no, protect my peace, but another part knew this might be the final chapter. Closure. Okay, I said, but in a public place. We met at a small park near her house. Birds chirped, kids played in the distance, normal life happening all around. Marlene sat on a bench when I arrived. She stood up slowly. Thank you for coming, she said. I nodded. What did you want to say? She looked nervous. I spent years blaming you for losing my son. That wasn't fair. My throat tightened. I should have been grateful, she continued. You loved him, you made him happy. Tears filled her eyes, and I turned that love into something ugly. I didn't interrupt. I was lonely, she whispered, but instead of facing it, I escaped. I hurt you. She took a shaky breath. I'm sorry, Clara. Silence hung between us. I forgive you, I said quietly, but things can't go back to how they were. She nodded quickly. I understand, I don't expect that. I hope you keep getting help, I added. I will, she promised. I finally understand I need it. We sat there for a moment, not as enemies, not as family, just two people who shared a painful past. I think Daniel would be proud of you, I said softly. She smiled through tears. I hope so. We hugged, brief, respectful. And that was it. No drama, no more anger. Just peace. That evening I went home and cooked dinner for Ethan. He noticed something different in my eyes. You okay? He asked. I think I closed a chapter today, I replied. He nodded. That's brave. I smiled. It took me 7 years. We ate together, laughing about nothing important, and that felt important. Later that night, I sat alone in my room and reflected on everything. I thought about the girl I used to be, afraid to say no, afraid to disappoint, afraid to lose people. And then I looked at who I am now. A woman who learned boundaries. A woman who learned that kindness without self-respect becomes self-destruction. A woman who learned that love doesn't mean sacrifice at your own expense. Daniel taught me how to love. Marlene taught me how to stand up for myself. Both lessons changed me. And I'm grateful for both. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Would you have kept sending the money, or would you have stopped sooner? Sometimes the hardest goodbyes aren't to people we lose, but to versions of ourselves we outgrow. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts below. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it to them. You never know who's quietly carrying a heavy burden. Thank you for listening to my story. This is Clara, reminding you that it's okay to choose yourself too.